Hiyo and welcome back. You might be noticing that I'm standing in my house and, well, it's pretty much empty. I've thrown some materials down here, but basically I hit the restore button, destroyed everything else, and ready to start building again. On the interior, I've done a bit of action with the library here. I got a bunch of books laid out, and I have some interesting platforms. So these platforms are pretty straightforward. I have some books that I've chosen to keep underneath here, as you know, with the library theme. I think it's fitting. Same on this shelf over here. You can see that there's some bookshelves, and then there's these little bookshelves here underneath. These are the ones from Mart. I got a couple little tables set up in here. I got a plant. I got a lamp. Adds to the effect. But yeah. So first I'm going to set up some hedges out here, and we're going to build us a couple of those shelves out here too, these little platforms that you can kind of set up on. The idea here is actually going to be more of like a garden kind of a theme. Because it's outside, it makes a little bit of sense. I've got some of these Gothic fences. These are found in Club Crypt. No, not Club Crypt, sorry, they're in the other one. Haunted something, the Hauntery. Haunted Hex Hallowed Hat Shop or something. I don't know. They're in one of the stores at Halloween time, and these guys are cool, 1,200 grelats each. But I like them a lot. You'll notice that they're used in a lot of the Halloween theme, like overworld layout. So you can see that you know, it's a pretty well considered piece. It's also very interesting collisions-wise. If you try and walk into these guys, then you can find that they kind of let you walk partway into the shape of them. That leads to a little bit of difficulty when you're dealing with like half increments. You can start walking through these fences pretty quickly when you start dealing with you know, like if you start using this shift grid. If you use the grid and move them half an increment, then it becomes problematic with the collisions. But if you just use them at single units and not half units, then you can do some interesting stuff. And they're cool looking. I like the appearance. The Gothic kind of, they got like a fleur-de-lis point on the top here. But yeah, so I'm gonna build a couple of sections to my little garden here. I'm trying to cordon off some of the large stuff first. As always, I want to use the large objects. I'm going to throw one of these up here just to keep it interesting. Let's see if I can, yeah, there it goes. I like kind of creating interactive spaces, so I'm going to keep this guy up here. I'm going to want to move that one in. Getting a little low level here, too late. Should have done it the other way. Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm gonna take this one up here, flip it, and I'm gonna try and keep some kind of an open space here. I'm probably gonna block this up, so you have to move the hedge. Now that our Garlat farming has been turned off, like we're not allowed to farm Garlats in other players' houses. There's no point in forcing players to pick up every hedge in your house. You don't make any money doing that anymore, so just don't do it. It's not cool. It's not cool anymore. The castle layout is now the worst layout. You see all these guys with like, you know, pick up 50 bushes to get inside my coat shop. It's like, no man, that's not what it's about. Gotta not do that anymore. So I've laid out these are actually old versions of an item that you can get now. These are vertical wall and horizontal wall. Now I think it's just called wall fence, but you can pick this up. I believe it's at Swamp Town, but I might be wrong. You might not be able to get them now. I haven't seen them for a while. They were at the flea market. Yeah, I mean, it was an item that it was like this, but it was treated like a fence. So the collisions were just like a fence, and the way that they operated was very similar to a fence. You can see that I'm building a little structure up here. Ideally, that should not really matter, that you can come and go here, but I'm going to build a platform similar to the ones that we had inside there. So I'm keeping a space between here. You can see that I'm keeping 2 units of space between the two planks here that I've got, these horizontal wall pieces. And the reason for that is I'm going to keep the same at the bottom, and I want these to line up. Like, I want this to have the same join. It should really look cool. It should look clean, should look proper. They should all match. And the way to do that is that you have to go through and make sure that they all match up properly. I'm running into a problem already here. So, I have these bushes here. I want to go and keep this guy on the other side, like so. And then keep these guys on this side over here. One more. That was my original intention, right? I'm supposed to have a space in the middle where you can walk in and out. And then this guy was going to be the side wall here. But it looks like that's not going to work. And even now, if I move this into, it's not going to be a proper, like, you're not going to have space to walk in and out. It's going to be only a one unit wide hole. So that means I'm going to have to rethink my design a little bit here. Potentially the other thing I could do is just force players to pick up bushes to go in and out here. But because this is going to be a little bit bigger of a structure and it's actually going to have some more depth to it, it's not really going to work if I do that. So, next step here, I guess, will be to move this over. Maybe I'll move these guys over one. Yeah, I think that looks like the way to go. And I mean, this is really what it's all about when you're doing the house stuff. I have this one unit of space between these guys and this bush here, so why not use it? I'm gonna pull it out this way. Pull this one out. And it lines up nicely. The only thing that I'm going to have to do differently now is deal with 3 units of space here at the top to cover, and not just 1 anymore. So that's a bummer, but I can deal with it. I can figure out what I can put in there to make it 3 units of space. So now what I'm looking at here is I've got these 2 units of space. I can walk in and out here. And the 3rd unit of space is actually this. It's got this peg here. It's the end of this wall. But I can walk in and out, which is what I was looking for. That's what I want to be able to do there. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these acorn fences, make it level 0. I'm going to put these guys underneath the walls. Oh, I'm trying to duplicate that. It's just not duplicating. Okay, this one here is going to go, it's going to match up, because the next thing I'm going to do is make some steps here. So I'm going to make this layer 0. This one's going to go vertical. Layer 1 is fine, and I'm going to keep it right here. The next one, I'm going to take this one, layer 1, also vertically with 3 units. Perfect. Okay, so now I've made my staircase up into here, and it has a depth from these acorn fences at the bottom. These guys are layer 0. These guys are layer 1. These walls are all layer 1 currently. Sometimes I'd like to throw the ones on the sides to layer... Oh, whoops. To layer 0. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I like to play with that as I go. Sometimes I'll flip these to layer 0, because what will happen is if I walk up here, it will actually hide your character, and that actually looks okay. For this build, it looks okay because these guys here are elevated. It looks okay a little bit raised like that. Nobody's going to get to that point where they can see that their hat shows up on one but not on the other. There's a degree of perfection that we can live with, I think, on this one. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I've had that there. I'm going to throw my patented railroad technique here. Railroad Kung Fu. Put this guy in. And make it vertical. The railroads have a special UI. It comes up in the corner up here. I don't know why that happened. It was before the time of rotation, so maybe that could get fixed. We could have a rotation thing instead. Maybe someday. So now you go up in here, you're up in this little raised space up here, and you can go down that staircase just the same. Marvelous. Okay. The other thing I'm thinking about maybe doing is throwing some bushing in there. I like using these bushes for elevation though, so that doesn't look great. It kind of adds to the elevation of the fencing, like the acorn fence, but I don't like how it lines up here. There's pixels where it's between those two. You can see that they're not connected, so I'm not going to go for that. I'm going to keep that guy back over here for a next little section that I want to do. Okay, so up at the top here we've got a gap. The gap is going to have to get filled by something, and the way that we're going to do that is initially with a table. And then on that table, we'll have to find some things to place so it covers the gap. Yeah, let's go for treasure table. Why not? We can always change it later if it doesn't work out. I like the Easter table, but I only have one. I'm also tempted to put in a, what's it called? The rainbow tables, but they're quite large and square. I like them in a much larger open space, and I'm kind of building little components where they're closed off or kind of cloistered a little bit. Okay, so I have this table here. It's layer 0. I'm going to throw a bunch of layer 1 stuff on top of that table to try and cover this gap now. That's really all I'm doing when I'm placing items on here. Up on top of tables, usually it's either just to get your eyes to pay attention to something that's not really ideal to be seeing or noticing. Some of the time it's just to display my cool stuff. I like showing off a little bit, old teapots and stuff like that. But most of the time it's to hide a big gap or something. What else can I throw up there? Crate. I'm looking for Nexus crate. Yeah, I want the one with the steel pieces in it. No, not this one. This one. Yeah, these guys here. Put them both in. Okay, so I'm gonna make a little bit of mess up here. This guy's also layer 0, but I'm gonna make him layer 1. And then I'm gonna take the next one. I'm gonna make him layer 2. And the layer 2 guy is gonna sit up here. And then this chest is going to be also layer 1. No, that doesn't look right. Maybe if I move this table up and make these guys layer 0. Layer 0. Oh, look at that. And I need another box at layer 1. And then it's going to look fine. Ox. I don't have an ox. But I do have a retro box. I think that's going to be the one. We're going to put the retro box up there. I'm going to add the other one in the room so it looks cool. And keep it down in the corner here so it takes up some of the grassy space. I would like to cover up that flower with it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep it down here. Okay, this guy's got to go to layer 1. Already layer 1. I'm going to keep it there. No, what I'm going to do is against what I initially plotted here. And normally I avoid getting into this structural level of detail right at the beginning. And this guy can also be layer 1 now. Because of just the sheer amount of time that it takes up to throw these things in here, I'm not putting chairs, I'm not putting all the other junk. I'm going to come through again and put a bunch of other stuff, but I want to make sure that structure, like this entire structure of this, is complete, and part of that structure is now those boxes and this table, right? It has to be there. I'm not going to come in and move those around again unless it's something that I get an idea and I'm going to throw something up on top of that table to block the hole a different way. Right, that looks fine as it is now. I'm happy with it. I might add one more box like balanced on top, but I think it's probably good. Oh no, because I said that I have to check. Does it look good? Is it looking good? Does that fit? Yeah, almost. Looks like a pyramid now. Big pile of loot. Okay, we'll leave it down there. Maybe another time. Alright, so I'm going to come over here to this side. I got this awesome swampy couch. I really like that. I wanted to be in a kind of an alcove here. So maybe what's going to happen is I'm going to pop these guys up over here. Throw them up a few units. I want to keep it back from the road a little bit so it feels open. Throw one of these guys here. I think I have a few more of those, but does it let me do 2 to the wall? Yeah. No, it will not. However, if I leave this guy here, now I've got a space on the wall there that I can walk through. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. So this little alcove here that I'm going to build, I want to have it with the hedges. At the top here, I'm going to put 1 layer and 1 layer. Actually, I got those backwards. I'm going to put this guy at the top. These guys here, I want to have this up one, and this one at layer 0 below. So I want to build like a textured, layered alcove here behind this chair. And I want it to appear like the chair is in a kind of like a pit or like a depression. So I'm going to take these guys, continue down. Technically, I suppose I can throw this guy here. Makes for a better appearance if I do this. Put one of these guys up here. I could also put a pillar there. Does it look good though? I don't think so. I think we've got a little tiny, like 1 pixel wide gap in there that I don't like. So I'm moving this over here because I'm picky. This it just looks better. Too bad. You can see how there's already that depth there. That over here we've got this depth. I'm tempted to throw this one up. Not a full unit, but a half a unit. Because now it overlaps and it actually pulls that in a little bit. It makes it look like it's really a part of that section. I hope there's only a few acorn fences. Go over here, acorn fences. Yeah, I stocked a bunch of stuff so I didn't have to duplicate on camera. I'm learning. Learning slowly. But yeah, I probably could have put them all off on the side somewhere instead of having them in the middle of my picture. Okay, so then these guys here, gotta turn this one this way. Now that's gonna be problematic here. It looks alright. Bring it up like that. Nah, doesn't work. The exception would be if I did the same thing on the top, which would be to cover up the intersection here. Like if I covered this intersection somehow or made it so it overlaps, but this one doesn't overlap properly. So I have to move this back down. That's okay. I can kind of trick the system here a little bit again. If I move it half an increment further down, now I'm cheating. This one here I'm also going to move down half an increment. So now what's going to happen, we're going to get some of that green here. We're going to have that deep layer. Looks like it's in a lower area here. And we get the seating. And this funny little overlap where you can hop off the chair and be standing on the flat ground even though you're not. Yeah, collisions. The collisions are funny. It happens. I think if I touch that and go, no. There's a way to get down there. I don't know what it is. There's a glitch you can do to jump down on that edge there. Okay, so then these guys are going to continue down here. That's going to stay there. Yeah, and then these guys, I think there's a stack of these guys in there too. Just like the acorn fence, I stacked a few extra. Okay, so then I need to do the same similar sort of thing on the other side here, to give the impression that it's got depth where it doesn't. It's that 2.5D effect. Okay, so I got the M, there we go. Mm-hmm. And this guy can move out over here. So that's getting there. I'm happy with the depth on this guy here. That's looking pretty good. I'm happy with the height on this one here. Looking for that. It should look like you're standing up top. Like I feel like my character is above this. Like if I go down these little stairs here, and I go and sit on this chair, it looks like this is down and this is way up in the air, or like, you know, a floor up. And that's really what I was going for. I want to have that appearance of height and depth. And I mean, that's really what we were going for in the house with those objects as well. When you see those sort of builds in a more complete area, you can see that that's the intention here. That, you know, when I'm standing on this square, it looks like it's raised above, you know, this area down here. For instance, you can see that this is the patented trick behind the bookshelves, right? When I have my bookshelves segment, you don't have that hard line like if I had moved this bookshelf out. And that's a trick for the interior stuff, that you have those hard lines. But on the exterior, you kind of have to use the double level, and get some of that depth in with the objects that you're placing. Like these guys here, having these objects placed, it makes it look like this is taller. It looks like stairs. It draws your eyes up. The level, like where we see the carpet coming underneath this object, it looks like it's casting above it. Right. This here, you can see that this object is the same height as this bookshelf, or you know, very similar height to this bookshelf. Even though this bookshelf is a little bit taller, it comes over top of that that piece of wall, right? So the perspective is there. You can see that step up is there. Kind of fools the eye a little bit. And the same thing is going on out here, especially when we're looking at these guys here. You see that there's this layering going on here, and it draws it down. It makes it look like this is below, especially when you have this layer here that's only one, and this here that's two. If I remove this guy here, it will just look like one layer. This piece is kind of pulling the eye up. See, now you can see that this looks pretty flat. This right here is doing the same trick. If I move this guy up though, if I put this like spaced in the middle, it doesn't really look like it's lower down or as low down. Whereas if I bring this down, it was 1/2 into the lower piece here, right there, and then this guy was down from the top by 1 point. Yeah, that's a little bit too much. There you go, right there. It looks like that's a lower, like really low and kind of comfortable seating. Especially when coupled with this, that you see that there's this stacked, you know, you can see the stacking effect of this guy here. It's not present at the top, so you see that same thing where it looks like it pulls the eye up. And especially when it's juxtaposed so nicely with the little bench across the street here that you can see fits into the scene. Okay, so we did a quick little build. I'll probably continue this in the next episode. I'm going to stop it for now. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.